We are three curious women on a lifetime mission of self-evolution.
Each of us a mom, entrepreneur, truth seeker, and love teacher.
We come together once a week to offer you ideas to human better,
Welcome to the flow life of Shelley, Eva, and Tann.
where we define love as living open and valuing everything.
On this podcast, you are dialed in and set to love.
Let's go for a ride. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Set to Love.
Hi, Eva.
Hi.
Hi, Tann.
Hi, Shelley.
I'm so excited we're here.
Yay.
All right. So I brought up this idea because Tann, when we were sitting down the other day and having lunch, you said something, and it's one of those quotes that stuck with me. So I went and created this Instagram post, and I thought maybe we could talk about it. But what you said was big dreams take big support. And I'm just wondering, like, to you, what that means. Because I know what it means to me, but I want to know what it means to you since you're the one that said it.
Well, to me, it means, well, first, a short story. So I remember being younger and having all these big dreams. I always did. And there wasn't always like a space for that where I was from, because a lot of people, their dream was to get a job at like the Ford Motor Company or General Motors, or get a job at the post office. And that's beautiful. And, everybody fed their family with that. But I always saw myself like on the beach with my kids. And I lived in Dayton, Ohio, a landlocked state, and I would talk about being on the beach with my children and, doing all these things. And it always felt like I had all these big dreams and I would get all these weird looks. And I feel like if I had a big support, then maybe I could have, thought those things were possible a lot sooner. And so what we were talking about over lunch, me and Eva, where my son has these really big dreams. My son and my daughter both have huge dreams. But we were talking about my son in particular and how I'm making some changes in my life right now to offer him some big support and what goes along with that. And sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I'm asking the question like, okay, God, is this what I should be doing? I don't know. But I do know that, if at the end of the day, he knows that I'm here and available to offer him big support, whatever that looks like and however he needs it, then at the end of whatever his journey is, and, he's like, oh, well, at least my mom was willing. My parents were willing. My family was willing to give me big support. So that's kind of the context of what I was talking about when I meant it, like just being available to help in the ways that he needs it and not in the ways that I think he should have it. Offering that big support. So yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about. And
I love that. I love that because so much of the time I don't think we realize for ourselves that we need big support for our dreams from within ourselves, but to make sure we have people within our network that really support us and what it is that we want to do, but that we do support our kids and their dreams. And it's not what we want for them, but it's what they want, and to be able to show up and really help them and support them. I mean, I know like for my kiddos, big support meant driving an hour each way to practice. It meant not being at the gym that was 5 minutes away and going to a gym that was an hour away because they had a really big dream. And for that really big dream to happen, they had to go quite a distance to go to the program that could offer that big dream to them.
Yeah.
And so not that it would have been a bad thing to stay and not shoot for that, because you're still going to have a great experience. But when you really believe and really want something, to be able to have people around you, because big dreams are a lot of work.
Yes. Oh, and I think a lot of people discount the work that's involved in having a big dream and actually planting the seeds and watering it to get it to grow. Like it's so much work. Now, it's not so much work that you can't do it, guys who are listening. People who have big dreams, don't think it's impossible, but just know you got to be in for the, you got to be committed. You got to be committed to this big dream. And I think something I want to kind of look at on the flip side of this coin is, big dreams need big support, but also being unafraid to identify people in your life who are not the big supporters and being okay with, creating space I'm a big person on saying creating space as opposed to walking away or, getting rid of the relationship. It's like just creating space. Sometimes you can't spend as much time with the naysayers and the people who don't offer you that big support that you need. So, it's just a full-time job, identifying your team, identifying what you need to do, and then doing it, and having that support that you
It's
need
so
for
funny.
yourself.
I was just thinking though, it's not off the track, but a little bit. Yesterday, I was watching America's Got Talent, and this young man came out, and he said he was a rapper, and he'd never sang in front of only his family, and he came out, and he had such a great presence about him. He said, all I want to do, he made me think of you, Eva. All I want to do is just like make a difference in the world. When I leave this world, I want to know I left some kind of an imprint. And then he started to sing and do a little bit of rapping in it. But the effect he had on this audience and all of those judges, and before he even went out, what's his name? Terry Fader or what? Or Terry Crews. He said to him, "When I get the golden whatever, because buzzer, are you going to come and grab me and throw me up in the air? And because that's my goal." Anyway, he goes out there, he does this song, and everybody just reacted to his positivity in such an amazing way. And even Simon Cowell said, I can't believe, you just walked out here and just your presence, you already had people standing, and it's because he was so positive and so loving. And the next thing you know, the other guy, the comedian guy, gets up on top of the thing and takes his foot and he goes, yeah, I'm going to make a difference. And he frickin' hit that golden button. He had no idea. Aww. This kid was crying. Terry comes running out, grabs him and throws him up, and all I'm really trying to say is it's just amazing how infectious greatness is.
Yeah.
You know, and what you see for yourself. So for all those people that have a dream, think of this young man. Like, he didn't know where it was going to take him, and look at all the greatness that he received. And it was all in attitude.
Yeah.
Just never let those people, other people that you're saying around that are negative, stomp on your dreams. Stay with your goal. Build a brick, build a wall, one brick at a time each day, do something. So it's a little bit off the beaten track, but it was just so positive. That was yesterday. And if you guys can go on there and watch it, it was infectious. It was beautiful.
It's amazing to really see people step into their essence. Like when someone is really meant to do something and you see it, I mean, whether it's an athlete or an artist or, a poet, or, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's when human beings create something and it's coming from their soul. Like it's just who they are. And they embrace it, and then they just share it so openly. It's like
so vulnerable.
Yes.
And though I'm telling you, when that golden buzzer went off, and I was crying. It meant that much. My mom's like, "You're crying?" I'm like, "Mom, is that not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen?" It was just so cool. So whatever. I love that.
But I think it's inspiring to see that. And I love that we're all inspired by that kind of thing. But I want dreamers to know, don't expect everyone to be inspired by your dream. Like, and I don't want to kind of belabor the point, but true. This whole idea of sometimes you have a dream and people are just really uncomfortable. Like they'll say, well, you can't do that. You do know that if you do that this is going to happen. Although they've never done it and they don't really know what's going to happen. They discourage it because it makes them A, uncomfortable, and B, they feel this need to also have a big dream too. And some of us don't have a big dream that that seems huge. Some of us, our goal is just to do this one thing. It could seem big to us, but that's okay. But I want to say to people who are listening to big dreamers, if you don't have anything to add that's positive, just silence is okay.
Yeah. As a parent, my daughter did a little bit of commercials and a few things or whatever in that field. And it wasn't that I didn't believe that she could be an actress or be in that field. as a parent, though, I felt responsible to say, you need to have backup.
Yeah.
Like, you can have that dream. So I think for parents, if they want to be more supportive, you can be supportive of a dream, yet you can also say, but you need to also back it up with some college, and that's what I told Brooke. You can definitely be an actress. I mean, you can be it just like anybody else can. We know how hard that field is, right? And so you, as a parent, don't want to see your kid disappointed, or, it's constantly chasing that dream or that next, we know that there's only so many people that really per se make it. So I always said, you just have a backup plan. It doesn't mean that I don't think you can do that. And now she's a nurse, and she kind of just grew out of the acting thing. That it wasn't really what she wanted.
But I bet she incorporates what she learned into nursing. She probably has to walk into situations and put on a game face.
Yep.
So there's definitely things that she learned, I think, that she can now incorporate into life. But I also think that it's part of the journey. I mean, it's okay to have these huge, huge dreams, and maybe you're not going to win the Academy Award, but maybe you are. And it's the process of doing it. I mean, do you like it enough that you're willing to do
to
it?
Take the downs, the highs and the lows.
Yes,
Absolutely.
even though it's like, I love sitting with you ladies and doing this. And it doesn't matter if we have 2 people listen or 2 million people. I don't care. I like doing this. I like the process of just sitting down and creating this and putting it out. And hopefully it impacts one person, but truly it's the process of it.
But it's our dream together. This is our dream that we're fulfilling.
Yeah.
And so no matter what, we're fulfilling our own dream to help others.
Yeah. And it's like we were talking about transitions in our earlier podcast. And it was like everybody's going through a transition, right? And there is a very famous song that we all know and love that simply says, life is but a dream.
Yes.
So at the end of the day,
I love that song.
Yeah, we all love that. We've all had that song as either a kid, or we sang it to our kids or a niece or nephew. And it's like, if you think about it, we all have a dream. It may it may not seem the same as your dream, Eva, or your dream, Shelley, but we all have a dream. There's some dream we're holding on to for our life that we want to see manifested. And so I think really just going, well, what is it that you need? Is there anything I can do to help you with your dream? I think that's the question, as opposed to, have you thought about what could happen? And I think as parents, it's great to tell our kids, have a plan B, have a backup plan. But I think too, also letting them know that it's really important to have a singular focus.
Yes.
And be unafraid to fail and then start again.
Yeah.
Then start again.
I just listened to Napoleon Hill. Have you listened to him before?
I think once.
Okay. So
twice.
He wrote Think and Grow Rich. Okay. And for me, I always thought it was like kind of a scam book, like Think and Grow Rich. I don't know what my perception of it was, but I didn't really understand what it was about.
Yeah.
And I just kept hearing a lot of people that I really look up to talk about him, his teachings or whatever. So the other day when I was cleaning my closet, I'm like, okay, I'll listen. Well, he's this really old dude who worked for Carnegie and basically studied successful people and then pretty much produced like the first personal development book. But one of his very first principle is you have to have, and I might mess this up, but you have to have purpose. You have to have something that you are so crystal clear on in life and you are going after. And I mean, he talks about it, in the context of the business world and stuff. But I think it's just human beings. We have to have that dream. We have to have something, whether it's whether it's relationships or family or a career or whatever, but you do as a human being have to have a big dream that you are excited to get up every day and go and do. And when in the lack of that space and the lack of life just being fine is where a lot of problems kind of start to fester and brew until you're sort of snapped out of it with a big, huge something happening in life. When you're not in pursuit of something, I think our souls need that. We need that big dream as human beings. And he saw that in these successful people.
I love how the title, and it's a very popular title, but I love that it says Think and Grow. right? I think rich is okay. It is
Yeah,
what it
right.
is.
Like that. We're good. It's just been left
But okay,
out.
I mean, because some people are like, some people can't fathom rich.
Yeah. Well, I ran a nonprofit. Well, still run a nonprofit for 21 years. There is no rich.
You know what I mean? And some,
But I definitely think, and I definitely have grown.
But you are
Yeah.
rich. You're
True.
rich
You're
in your
rich in ways.
experiences,
Mhm.
and you even said
I
what
hear you. I
what
hear
it's
you.
how it's affecting your children that go to that camp
That's
with those
true.
kids
That's
and those
Absolutely.
relationships.
true.
There's no price tag on that,
That's
right?
true.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather have
That's
those
just-
experiences.
I guess it's just me and my perception. I always think rich. I just went straight to like it's
To
gotta be
money,
money,
having a lot of
Yeah,
money,
right,
and
right.
and that's great. I
it
mean,
would be nice though. I wouldn't mind having money.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, I'm making room for that in my
Me
life. That's
too.
how I'm framing that. I'm making room for financial rich, you
Yeah.
know, and all these other rich. But I think, but the think and the grow piece, I love the power of that, because the way you think is the way it's going to happen. And it's like, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right. Isn't that a
Yes,
quote,
yes,
right?
yes.
So it's like, if you think you can do it, yep, you will. If you think you can't, then you won't.
And then what's really sad too is you don't want to get to the end part of your life and have regrets, because it's so
Right.
sad when you see people, I wish I would have this or that. You know, don't wait for that. Just do it now. It's
Yeah.
never too late. It doesn't matter what it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if you can't do it exactly the way you would have maybe when you were a young person, you can still have forms of it and still fill that dream in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that there's always some part of whatever that dream is.
I heard this
Yeah.
guy, and he said, Jason Silva. He said, "Pay for experiences, not things." And I love that, because I think going after a dream is an experience.
Yes.
It is not about collecting things. I mean, maybe your dream is to own a big house or own or whatever, but then those are empty dreams. Like, you're not really going to find the fulfillment in the stuff. You're going to find the fulfillment in the experiences.
Unless your dream is to have a big house so that you can bring your sick mother to live with you,
True,
and that she
true.
has a space
True.
to live and to have a home
But that's
health
because
care.
you're creating an experience for
Yes.
her to have.
You
Like,
know-
I have to have so many bedrooms because I have so many children.
Yes.
in
Right.
my job, I used to go to people who had plastic surgeries,
Uh-huh.
and that had a lot of money, big houses, elevators in their homes, people walking around cleaning knobs in, certain clothes that they look like they were, housekeepers. And it was amazing to me, though, what affected these people when they would, because they have to pay for everything because they have so much money. And I would go in there and I would treat them like, a family member, because that's just my nature anyway, to be loving and to hug them and to, do things that I'm not asked to do. I just love to be that way. And it's amazing. You don't want any money. Like, I feel like to have that kind of money and to compare, I used to be so happy to go home to my little world, because I had something that you can't explain that money can't buy. And it's just, I just found a lot of people that had a lot of money, lots of cars. I mean, you would think some of them, I mean, can't talk for everyone, but so many of them, I felt like there was a sadness about it, and I used to try to just love them and show them a different way.
Well, I promise not to be sad when I have a lot of money and a lot of cars. When you come see me, Shelley, I'm going to be happy.
No, but I'm just saying you can't, all I'm saying is there are happy people, and there are happy people that, have a lot of money. And, who I think of is Jada Pinkett and Will Smith.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Just how that family, they probably have a ton of money, right? They just seem so positive, and they just seem like they're constantly growing and helping others, and they pretty much have it right. They've kept their family dynamic so important, and it's not about money. So for that, yes, they're a great example of, money can't buy you happiness. They have it, and they've, basically built their relationships on love, not on what you can buy. But there are people, I really have to say, that have a lot of money that are very, very lonely.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of poor people who are lonely too. I think it really does depend on your outlook and the way you're responding to these things. And, I think there are some people who have nothing and they're smiling and they're in a really good place, and they'll share with you their last dollar. You know, some people are
Yes.
they're just happy. And there are some people who have all the money in the world and they're just not nice people. They've been through something, they can't let it go.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you, this idea of a big dream that needs big support. I met a woman about 2 weeks ago now because I did an interview with a young man who's on a Disney show called Raven's Home. And it's a program called No Stigmas Allowed. And I was the therapist that they brought in. And he was the young person who talked about young people dealing with things like bullying and peer pressure and anxiety and stuff like that. And he's 13 years old and he already has this big life, right? He had this dream living in Detroit, Michigan. He was a little boy. He told his mom he wanted to be a performer. And so she brought him to California and he was on like America's Got Talent or one of those shows like that I didn't even know about until he talked about it. From this show, he has had this career, 13 years old. Now he's a Disney actor. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I learned a lot from him, but one of the most powerful things I learned was after the interview that we did together when I was talking to his mother. And his mother said, "This is his dream. I am supporting it 100%. I live here in an apartment in Pasadena with him, my youngest daughter, and then my 18-year-old daughter just moved here to go to college. But my other 3 kids and my husband still live back in Detroit." And that had been like that for 5 years. For 5 years. She lives in 2 cities because she says, "I'm not yet ready to just kind of like plant my roots here in California yet because I have 6 children. And this is my one child's dream. So I'm supporting him by being here with him. But my husband still works his job and he still has our home and maintains our family in Detroit. So sometimes we have to support in an out of the box fashion. Like it doesn't look like what we would even normally be comfortable doing. You know, like some of the things that I'm doing now to support my son, I would have never seen myself doing this 2-3 years ago. But when it was proposed, when he said it to me, there was not even a second thought. I just said, "Sure, 100% yes, whatever you need, we will do that." Because the responsibility a human, and this is the other thing I look at it, the responsibility a human feels and the weight that they must feel when they have this huge dream. And just to need that support, I feel like is everything. I feel like
That's beautiful.
It's the difference between whether you do it or not, I think sometimes.
Yeah. And I think what you said, what was amazing to me is when you said 2 or 3 years ago, you couldn't have seen yourself here because a lot of times, especially with our kids, like we don't think we're ever going to be that parent who's going to drive an hour to practice or go live in this country or go do that. Or so many people are probably judging that mom right now going, "Oh my gosh, she's got 6 kids. She left 3 behind. She's supporting 1. How could she blah, blah, blah." Right? Like you hear that, but you don't know what that's like.
You don't.
To see a gift in your child and to see a passion and to see that light towards something and the opportunity. It's like when those moments happen, it's almost like magic. And you think, how do I not say yes to this? I need to step into this. Let's just see how it goes.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
It does show your family something though when you support a child. It also teaches the siblings to say, "Wow, if there's something that I want to do, my parents are going to be right there." So, you know, they're probably at a younger age for other children and they want to see success for their brother. And it's really teaching a great selflessness to the whole family. You know how the husband and wife may be working together to keep their marriage. You know, we don't know. She probably maybe flies out every month or something to see her husband. She
does quite
often.
So
you never know the whole picture, but I just feel like what a beautiful story that is because everybody is just like anything else. Everyone's affected in how those siblings are supporting the brother too.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you on like Coleman's cheer team that he was on last year, there were kids because they're one of the best in the world. There was a boy from England. I mean, just came out here, lived with a host family. There's kids who are 12 years old, barely eligible to be on this team, who move here from other parts of the nation and live with a host family for an entire school year. They'll give up their sophomore, junior, senior year of high school with their friends where they feel safe and comfortable to come to have a shot at winning this cheerleading world championship. And there's no guarantees. You're going to put in all this time. You're going to put in all this work and hours and there's no guarantee that you're even going to win.
For a shot.
Just for the shot.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you have to enjoy the process and why you need to be around other people. When you are that good that you can even be on a team like that, or you're that good that you get the part or you get the opportunity, it's like you have prepared for so long and all you can do is your best. And then let
Hakuna
the chips fall.
Matata.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You will never be the person who says, I wonder what would have happened if I had tried.
Yes.
You'll never be that person. You might be the person that said, hey, I gave it everything I had and the chips fell where they did, you know, and I would rather be that person.
Well,
I would
you
rather
can
be that
handle
person.
it.
Yeah.
You can handle it saying, hey, you know what? You can't give any more. I gave everything I had to that.
Yeah.
And so then I think no matter what, even if you're not first, you know, just if you placed or even if you didn't place, you had such an amazing journey and experience living with a host family. I mean, those are all wonderful, life-changing, great experiences, and it will mold that child who they're going to be in the future.
Well, and that's where the big support comes in, because whether win or lose, you need your coach to still be there for you. You need your mentors. You need your parents. You need your team. You need the people to be able to say like, hey, at least could you have done anything different? No, I gave it 100%. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you went after that dream.
And you went out, and I want to say, I'm always highlighting the part that sometimes it feels icky because I'm a therapist and I just want people to be prepared for the icky part. Eva, I know, and you don't even have to say this, but I am sure there were days you had to drive an hour and you didn't want to, or you were exhausted, or something was hurting, or you had a headache, or you just wanted to rest. When you're supporting a big dream with big support, there are going to be times where it's hard. And it's like sometimes you just don't want to. You just want to pull out of that thing altogether. But it's like you have to understand that this is a responsibility that you have said yes to, and you get in the car every day and you drive the hour home and you just do it. It just becomes a part of the routine. You don't worry about the storms that are coming. You just figure out a way to do it, you know? And so I want to encourage people who are trying to find a way to support a big dream or to be supported with their big dream, that there are going to be obstacles, there are going to be challenges, but you know what? If you weren't shooting for that, you would still have obstacles and challenges.
When I used to take Brooke to her interviews, you know, we'd be in that, you know, that audition for 5 minutes, if that. Sometimes you just go in there, say 3 lines, and you're done. And it could, their reason for not picking her wasn't because of anything other than maybe, you know, you didn't have brown eyes. I have no idea. But the time that it took to get there and to prepare was, you know, 3 hours and in traffic. And so I used to just, you know, it's how you want to make of it. Brooke and I used to play games, and I'd say, you know, we're only going to be in there for a few minutes. It's going to take us longer to park and figure out what we're doing. So let's make some fun of this. And we used to play games, and I'd have snacks and, you know, different things. So you have to make the best
That's
of
it. When I would take Emmy to cheer in Bakersfield, it was an hour and a half drive each way. Like her gym was even further than where Coleman's gym was. And I said, how many parents get to have 3 hours of uninterrupted time with their child in junior high?
Yeah.
2 years we did that drive.
Rare. That's rare.
At least 3 times a week, an hour and a half each way.
priceless.
And it was just like the most amazing opportunity to really just sit and connect with your child.
Yeah.
So I really just took advantage of that opportunity. A lot of parents thought I was nuts. Like, what? There's a gym down the street. Why would you drive your child? I'm like, she wants to go to Worlds and she's good enough to go. And I don't mind doing it. And I have support at home to help with the other 5 children. And so we're going to support her because big dreams take big support.
You know what, though? I still remember even what you did for your son when he wanted to go to Arizona to that concert.
Oh, yeah.
The play. Where you call the play, and you called Chad and said,
oh, yeah,
you know, I just want to make this happen for him.
Yeah.
I feel like I love that selflessness about you because you don't care what it is. You're just going to make it happen. However it is, you're going to fulfill that dream of your kids. And even if that means seeking out, you know, basically someone else to get the credit for taking him or whatever, you don't look at it like that. You look at it, I just want my child, to have this experience. And
well, I think when you see the gifts in your kids and you notice something that they really love, it's super important to nurture those things.
yes.
And for him, he loves musical theater. And so the more exposure he has to that, I don't know why he needs that in his life. I'm not here to say that's what he's going to do. I mean, the kid really, he struggles with the whole music and harmony and all of that part. He's not the singer, but he's a great comedian, and he has a passion for it. And so it's not for me to judge. It's just for me to support. And so who knows where it's going to go or what it's going to look like in 5 or 10
I know,
years.
but that was over and above. That was hours and hours away to get him there. I just feel like that was what a really cool thing that you
Thanks,
did.
Shelley.
I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
And the lengths that you'll go to make your kids happy. I know I would do it, but watching you do it was pretty cool to see. Wow, what a selfless mom, that she just wants to see her kids happy. And
I think we all try to do that, don't we? Like we really try to just
Doing
show
our
up for
best.
them and just do our best. And that's all we can do. And I make plenty of mistakes.
Well, we all do, but I mean,
Sure.
even you, Tann, I'm so proud of you. You're going to go on this adventure with your son.
Yeah.
That talk about selfless. I mean, and I'm
Yeah,
just
you're
saying,
you're giving up your
just,
practice.
You're
That's
just
pretty
putting
selfless.
everything in your life on hold.
Yeah.
And you don't know where this is going to go. And I think that that's a beautiful thing, what you're doing for your son to be able to fulfill his dreams. No matter how it turns out, you're still going to do it. And there's going to be so many great things. There's going to be some challenges, I'm sure, in there too. You'll handle them because you always do. But what a great thing. And
I don't think it means you're putting your dreams on hold. I think it just
No.
means here's a space for you to create your dreams or define it even more. Or it's like there's a reason why you're going to be there and something is going to happen. And I think that's what's so cool, is to say, it's not like you're saying, oh, stop. I'm not going to keep moving forward. You're going to keep moving forward doing your thing. It's just going to create this space for you to be able to do it, where maybe if you stayed here, you wouldn't have had it.
Yeah. You have to be open.
every experience like that I've ever done where you were selfless and went to help someone else or fulfill something for someone, I have always come out like on the winning end of it. I feel like, wow, this wasn't intended for me, but look at these blessings that I got from it. So you will, Tann.
Well, thank you for you guys saying that, because I do have moments where I'm like, what are you doing? What is happening? And but two things I think about, and I've seen the evidence of this in my family. If you there's a quote that says, if you always give, you will always have. And then there's another famous quote in a very famous book, the Holy Bible, that says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things unseen. And so for me, when I think about wanting to be a person that has a lot of faith and trust in what's happening in my life and being open, I do want that substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And it's like, how do you know? And if you don't, just go. Just do it. So
Wow,
and take
I
all
think
your
that's a
stuff.
great way
Yeah.
to
end the show.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
really. I mean, that was. How did that happen? That was so perfect.
Yeah.
You
I
always
love
have
that.
perfect ways to end the show.
And Maya's here
And
to
Maya's
say, "Hey,
here.
girls."
She's probably gonna bark in the mic soon. But everybody,
Maya.
I want to say, with your big dreams and your big support, if you do have fears, just put it in a backpack and take your fear with you. You don't have to let it stop you. It doesn't have to immobilize you. But we can
and
do it.
seek out somebody who can support you.
Yeah.
No matter who it is. Sometimes it's a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
a coach, whatever it is.
Yes.
Don't
People you don't even know. Again, go online. Just listening to
Yeah.
motivating people
Follow
can
your
be
dreams.
enough.
Yes. All right.
I love you, girls.
I love you guys. Set to love.
Set to love.
Set to love.